Hello everyone. So today in this video we will create the sign up API or the register user API. So first of all we have started our server and we are serving on localhost 8000, and so to create an API we will use the API routes here. You can find it in the routes/API, and there is a default API created, so we just need to delete it. We will not use it. And now to create, or all the API routes will be work on /API like this, domain/API slash what will be the name, like sign up or like login. So we can create, first of all we will create a controller in the app http and controllers, and we can create a new folder here for all the APIs, and it will be API, and here in the API folder we can create a new file with the name of user controller, as all the user specific route functions and routes will be created here. So we can say HP and namespace should be app http and now we can create a class here with the name of user controller, and it should extend the main controller. And we need to use it, use app http controller/controller. And one more thing, we need to use eliminate http and request to receive all the requests. So we have created our controller, and one more thing we need to use is here our user model, which can be find here, app/models/user. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to define the route. So first of all we can create a group route by like this, route : group, and here we need to pass namespace will be app and a function. Okay, so it should be here, not here. Yeah. So now we can say this should be API. Okay, and now like if we are creating a route for sign up, we can say route : and it should be a post route. Here we can say sign up. And now in the Laravel 8 we need to always use all the controllers which we will define in the routes. So we can like here use app http controllers/API/user. controller. Okay, now here we can say user controller colon class, and the function name will be same as this sign up. Okay, now we can create a function in the user controller. Here we can use the request instance, and when we create API, it should be a best practice to always handle the exceptions. So even there will be an error, so our API will not get failed and it should return something. And whenever we return anything in the API, it should be in the JSON format. So we can say try, and if our code stuck anywhere or it will there is an error, it should go to the catch log and should return the response in a JSON format. So you can say response dot JSON, and we mostly in all the APIs when we uh, create APIs for an application or with any uh, web page or a single page or any type of application like Android, iOS, anything, mostly we need to pass three parameters. One is status, another is message, and the third one is data. So these three are mostly commonly used parameters. So if our request get failed, we can pass the status as false, and a message key which contain the error message like why the request is get failed. So we can get, in this case we can get it from here $e dot get message, and another one is data, and in this case this should be blank. And also we can pass the error code, like in this case we can pass the 500 error code. And if for the try, so first of all we need to validate our request. So we can say dollar equal to validator colon make, and it will accept three parameters in which two is required. So first of all the request element like which we are receiving from the API, we can set here request dot all, means all the parameters we are receiving from the API will be inserted here. And now the error rules, and it should be an array. Now we can pass the rules. So let's check the database, like which field are there in the database. So first of all we have name, so name should be required, and this should be minimum of 2 characters and maximum of 45 characters. Now the other one is email, and this should be required, and it should be an email. And one more thing we need to use is it should be unique. So what unique does is it will check if there is uh, no any email exists with the same email, just to validate the duplicacy of an email. And other than this we can have a password here. So this is required, and it should be minimum of 8 and maximum of 45. And other than this, for profile picture we will use this field in the update profile API. So as we have set our validator, and now we need to check if our validation is passed or not. So we can check it like this: if $validator dot fails, if our validation is failed, means any of the condition is true, then it will go here, otherwise it will go here. So uh, now we need to return something if our validation is failed. So let's see what we are, how we can get the error messages. So we can say dollar validator dot errors, just dd into it, and now let's try to run our API. So the URL will be localhost colon 8000 slash API slash register. Now it should be get API, and let's try to run it. Okay, we have made a mistake here of URL. Send, it's saying 404, and let's see why. Okay, actually this is, the name is sign up, not register. Okay, now we have get an error. Target class app http controllers API user controller does not exist. Okay, here I think we have made some mistake. Okay, I think we don't need to use this group here. Okay, now let's see what happened here. Saying target class, and here HTTP controllers API slash user controller. We have it here. You define the namespace app http. Okay, here the namespace is wrong. Now let's check it. Okay, we also need to use the validator here. Use validator, and now okay, now as you can see we are receiving three errors. First for name, and the name field is required. First, second for email, the email name field is required, and third one is password field is required. Now the problem here is we cannot pass these all the validations in a single variable. Like every application is failed to show all these messages at the same time. So what we can do is, but evenly it's all up to you, like how your application is work. But we will only we will only send the single error message at a time. So we can do this. You can also, you can pass all these messages according to you, and it's all up to you to how we can use these things. So we will pass only single message, so we can get the first error message. So we will need to retrieve the first error message. So how we can do it is $error. So it should be validator dot errors dot all, and here let's delete this. See what we are getting. Okay, as you can see, now we are getting these in array. All these are converted into array, and we can just say the zeroth index or zeroth element that array. And now what we need to do is we need to pass the response in the JSON format. And it should be a status which is false, a message which is be dollar error, and the last is data which is blank. And here we can pass the status code, and it is optional, so it's not required to pass a error code, but you can pass the validation error or internal server error, anything, or unprocessable entity 433 error. It's for, I think we need to check unprocessable entity error code. Okay, it's 422 error code. And if all these validations are passed, means user has filled the name, filled the email, and filled the password, all these validations are passed, it should go here. So now here what we need to do is we need to create, or we need to save that user in our database. So let's do it. So first of all, what we need to do is when a user uh, enters a password, it's in a raw format, so we need to convert that in a hash format. So that to convert our password in a hashed format, we need to use hash here. And now we can say create, or we can directly use here user colon colon create the user model colon colon create command or function. And here we need to pass the column name and the value here is dollar request dot name, which we are getting from the API, and the other one is email, and it is request dot email, and the last one is password. Now we need to make it encrypted, so we can use hash colon colon make function to hash the password, and we can say request dot password. And now if user has created, we need to pass a response here, and we can say return response dot json, and we can say this time status will be true, message will be future, and say account created successfully, and we can say data will be blank, or we can also pass the details of the user which is created. Okay, now let's check our API. So first of all, we need to send the data, we will pass all the data in the body format and the form data, you can choose it. And now we can say, first of all, let's don't pass anything and let's see the results. Okay, so we need to return here. Now as you can see, the status is false and the message is the name field is required, so we need to pass name here, and if we pass a name we can say Ajay. Let's first of all change the view. Yeah, now that's okay. Okay, now the next, if we pass the name and check for the another message, it will say the email field is required, email, and if I enter anything random, it will say email must be a valid email address. Okay, so you can say ajay@mailinator.com. So basically Mailinator is a free email SMTP service, and you can check any message inbox with this .com. Let's try it now. Okay, we should get, we are not getting anything actually. Let's see what happened. Unique. Let's see what happening. I think there's some error. I think email field is required, and if we are passing the error, it's not giving us anything. Okay, we forgot to return here, and we are receiving error. Validation rule: unique requires at least one parameter. Okay, so with unique we also need to pass the table name here, unique and users. Unique and colon users. Okay, so now the password field is required or error is coming. Okay, so don't forget to return. You can say password field is required, and if we type the password to see, it should give us the length error. The password must be at least 8 characters. Let's complete it to 789, and this time it will see we got an error. Fatal error trait as a pay token not found. Okay, so now the error is coming of this has API tokens. So basically we need to do is, let's go on the sanctum and search for has API tokens. So we just need to use it here as API tokens. Okay, now let's run our API. Yeah, as you can see, we have created the sign up API, and now let's check our database if we got the records here. Yeah, as you can see, name is Ajay, email is this, and the password is now, it's all encrypted, like no one can read this or encrypt this, and we got our created that and updated that fields. Okay, so in the next video what we will do is we will send an email, or we will first we will try to log in that user with the with these credentials, and we will generate a security token of that user so he can get logged in. Yeah, just wait for the next video to come, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.